Good evening and welcome back to A Fresh Angle. Appreciate the support, appreciate all the subscribes. It's helping us. We want to build this channel up and offer some quality content. Thank you for the likes and the comments. Today I'm going to get off the Mennonite issue. I want to tell a story really. I got in a conversation with a man, we'll just call him Jim. And he holds many different opinions than me, and I find that, not fascinating. I find it refreshing. He probably would tend to be more liberal than I am. And we got to talking, and Jim was in a conversation with his friends, and they were discussing whether it's all right to steal from Walmart. You say you go through the self-checkout and, well, oops, this thing didn't get scanned. You put it in your bag anyway. And he was like, we discussed, is that okay or not? So I was interested. I said, well, what did you decide? He said, well, we decided it's okay to steal some items. I said, well, how did you reach that conclusion? He says, well, there's actually several reasons it's all right. I want to know. I mean, have I been missing out all my life? I've never stolen from Walmart, so. And I'll say I was very surprised to hear him say that, because for all of my life that I've known him, he hasn't seemed like somebody who would steal. I said, well, Jim, will you step me through your logic here, because I'm a little lost. So he starts out, he said, well, for one, Walmart, they set up these self-checkout, and it's a machine, and they realized when they set them up that there was going to be some amount of theft. You can't really watch everybody. He said they realized that, but they were good with it because, they're saving money on not paying an employee. And he stated that further, Walmart employees are instructed not to make a deal of it if the item is small that they witness being stolen. Just don't make a big deal about it. Then he said the second point was that, many people that steal are desperately in need of items. And he said maybe they're barely making ends meet. And, the CEO of Walmart, he can afford this loss. No big deal to him, right? And, it's not hurting anybody. So Jim steals, say, and nobody is hurt but the CEO of Walmart, and he's rich, so who cares? He said the third point, and it's the most important point to him, was that Walmart, like many corporations like Amazon and probably Costco and many others, they're a mega corporation. And they're just raking in the dough, and they're doing this on the backs of their employees. So they're exploiting labor, exploiting employees. They should share more of the profit with the employees, he said. And it kind of serves them right if people steal, and they're kind of making up for this discrepancy. He said, for somebody to be making millions and the employees only making $14 an hour, he said, that's not fair. He said, the Walmart CEO reaps the rewards while the employees slave day after day. And he said, besides that, they're replacing people with machines. So further exploitation of people, I guess. So, and I thought about this, and the conversation was at least 40 minutes long, so I'm condensing it down. I hope I'm not doing violence to his thoughts here. But first I want to point out, I don't care for Walmart at all. So I'll shop pretty much anywhere but Walmart. But I'll add to that this line of reasoning is quite significant, and it needs to be examined. Let's look at the morality of this issue. Is it truly hurting anybody or nobody? And that was one of his statements, it's not hurting anybody. So in answer to that, let's say somebody steals and there's a loss. Who pays for that loss? Say the item was $5. Who pays for that $5 that went missing? Is it the Walmart CEO? And I'll say he's not going to take a $5 loss. He won't take a 10-cent loss. So who's going to pay for it? Will insurance cover it? Well, insurance will cover a large loss, but they're not going to cover straight up theft, like small items over 1,000 stores. So who's paying for that loss? And the answer is you and I are paying for the loss. So if I'm paying for the loss, I haven't stolen anything, but they jack the prices up to make up for their loss. That means I'm being hurt. So another point he made was they're replacing an employee with a machine. So they could be giving a person a job, but they jerk the job away and they give it to a machine so they can save money, and that's not fair. But whoa, let's back up a minute. He just stated that they are getting rich off the backs of people. So it would be a good thing then if they're not exploiting people. So, and another point that I'd like to address is he said that people that are stealing are barely making ends meet, and some of that may be true. I'm not hating on people who steal. I'm just examining his line of thought here, and I hope to do more of this in the future. Are they barely making it? Is that the reason they steal? And so I studied this. I researched it, and I found out that that is actually not true. So if you look, anybody can do this. Let's go on Google and look at what items are actually being stolen. Are they potatoes and apples, things because you're hungry, you got to eat? And no, actually the number one item that suffered from theft was cosmetics. Not really a necessity. The number two was digital electronics. Also not a necessity. And then, it had a list of 15 most commonly stolen items. So cell phone accessories, sunglasses, DVDs and games, jewelry, even cigarettes were stolen. None of those are necessities. Now, once again, I'm not hating on the person who commits a theft. I'm just examining his line of reasoning. So the website Psychology Today made this observation. It says poverty has always in the past been considered the root cause of stealing. But actually recently they've realized that that's not correct. It says poor people often do not steal and people who have plenty often do steal. So stealing is not a thing of necessity anymore. Another author online said, and a psychologist said, that he feels that people who steal are trying to find something they feel lost within themselves. So they're trying to replace that with something that feels valuable. His first point that Walmart expected a certain amount of theft just makes me kind of embarrassed, because as a human, I wish we wouldn't allow ourselves to do those kinds of things, even if they are easy or even if people expect it. Try to stay in the right lane if you can. I've made some serious mistakes in my life, so I understand mistakes. But it's sort of a shame that they expected that. In any case, pretty much all theft comes from a mentality. It's how you think about life. And it causes whoever's committing the theft to justify their actions, say it's okay for whatever reason. Just like my friend Jim thought it was okay for whatever reasons he put forth here. The mentality of stealing causes you to justify your actions. The same mentality, though, it includes, the stealing mentality, includes everything from shoplifting to cyber crimes to identity theft, plagiarism, invasion of privacy, and other things like that. And as we learned here, it's not harmless. It hurts those people, so it even hurts yourself. So if you steal today, they raise the prices, so now you're paying a higher price for what you don't steal. It's not harmless. And most often, like everything else, the innocent people are the ones that pay for the crime. I wasn't trying to step on toes. I just like a really good philosophical argument. Hopefully we'll be doing some more videos just examining lines of reasoning. If you want to examine any other lines of reasoning like this one, put it in the comments. I might take some time to do a video on what you suggest. Thank you for your support, and y'all have a good evening.